Welcome to episode 4 of The Prophetic Painter of Rajasthan. If you haven't already, I recommend watching episodes 1 to 3 to follow the full unfolding story. But whether you're returning or just joining us, I'm glad you're here. Now, take a breath and step with me into a world of ancient secrets, hidden powers, and lingering mysteries. Let's begin. After the final painting, Veerraj finally understood. There was no mountain high enough, no false name hidden well enough, no border wide enough to keep out what pursued him. Not kings, not crows, not curses, because it wasn't outside him, it was within. The brush had never truly left his hand. Even in sleep, it painted through him. He had considered escape. He had even considered getting rid of his hands. "If I no longer have hands," he whispered to the shadows one night, "then I can't be their painter." But the thought withered almost as soon as it bloomed. What if they make you hold the brush with your mouth? What if they guide your feet, like a child learning to walk? What if you paint without touching anything at all? He could not escape. He could only return. And so, he did. The caravan took 3 weeks. He said little, ate less. By day, he stared across the sands like he was watching an invisible storm. By night, he dreamed of staircases that led nowhere, and birds with no eyes. When he reached the outskirts of Janespur, he waited until sunset. He wrapped his face in a cotton scarf and slipped through the alleyways, like smoke. He didn't go straight home. He waited behind the tannery until the sky turned black. Only then did he approach the door. His father opened the door. The old man said nothing, only pulled him into a trembling embrace. His hands were rougher now, his eyes ringed with sleeplessness. "You shouldn't have come," he whispered. "The Rana's guards still ask about you." "I had to," Veerraj replied. They spoke all night. Veerraj told him everything: the sleep painting, the empty dreams, the stick in the garden, the faceless figure on the ruined road. And then, softly, "I think I'm not meant to live." His father's eyes didn't widen. They didn't blink. They just filled with tears. "I thought that once too," the old man said, "when your mother died. I sat by the well and thought the same thing. But you cried that night, not like a child, like something older. That's when I knew. Something had chosen you. I don't know why. But if it chose you, then you are not meant to surrender." Veerraj lowered his eyes. "Then what am I meant to do?" His father rose. He disappeared into the back room. He returned with something tightly wrapped in cotton cloth. An old canvas. Veerraj's hands trembled as he unrolled it. It was the first painting he had ever done. Crude lines drawn with turmeric and soot on rice cloth. A crow perched above a cracked palace gate. But now, new cracks had formed, lines that hadn't been there before, and in the corner, almost faded into the texture. Another figure had emerged. Him, older, standing at the foot of the same palace. But this time, his hands were not trembling. This time, they were empty. "I don't understand," Veerraj whispered. "You will," his father said. And then, someone knocked their door. Not hard, not urgent, just 3 steady taps. They froze. Another knock. Then silence. Veerraj walked slowly to the door. His father tried to stop him, but Veerraj's eyes were distant, half dreaming. He opened it. No one stood outside, only a canvas leaning against the threshold. He turned it over. It was blank. But even as he stared, faint brushstrokes began to emerge. First, a sky, then a painting studio, and then his own face. Older, wiser, not afraid. Behind him, shadows fleeing. And overhead, the crow, looking at the studio's door. He looked at his father, eyes wide. I think I understand now. And for the first time in years, Veerraj stepped into the night, not as prey, but as a painter who had accepted his brush. He thought the power was a curse, one that chained him to horror, to visions of death. But the final painting showed something else. It wasn't fate that hunted him. It was fear. Fear of what he could become if he stepped fully into the gift. He had never been just a mirror. He had never been just a door. He was a guide, able to see what others could not. And perhaps to change it. The future doesn't come to those who run. It comes to those brave enough to stand with an empty canvas and still choose to paint. Years passed. Jaisanpur changed. New rulers came. Droughts ended. Markets returned to life. But in quiet corners, around fires at night, Veerraj's name still lingered, like a half-remembered song. Some said he died. Others claimed he vanished into the desert and became a ghost. But a few spoke of a hidden temple deep in the Aravalli hills. It wasn't on any map. No path led to it. Yet travelers sometimes found it at dusk when the light bent strangely. The temple was carved from an ancient rock. There were no idols, no chants, no priests. Only paintings, dozens of them, spread across the walls. Some showed what had happened. Plagues, wars, betrayals. Others showed what never came to be. A forest that sang, a kingdom of light. At the center hung one painting alone, showing a man, cloaked in dust, standing on a sand dune. In his hand, a blank canvas. Behind him, a shadow reaching. In front of him, a gate of light. And beneath it, carved in fading Sanskrit. The line between curse and calling is the one you choose to paint. No one guards the temple. But when the wind shifts, you might hear it. The sound of a brush gently moving across stone. The brush never truly stops, and neither do the stories. Thank you for following and walking with us through all 4 episodes of The Prophetic Painter of Rajasthan. It's been an incredible journey, one filled with mystery, ancient powers, and the question of what it truly means to see and to choose. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Your support helps us bring more stories like this to life. We'd also love to hear from you. What kind of stories would you like us to explore in the future? Folklore, futuristic, supernatural? Let us know in the comments. And here's one last question. If you had a gift like Veerraj's, one that could reveal the future but at a cost, would you use it? Or would you walk away? This marks the end of Season 1 of The Prophetic Painter of Rajasthan. But the journey isn't over. We have many more stories waiting for you. So keep watching, keep imagining, and keep wondering. Until next time, thank you for being part of this world.